We're sharing this recipe with you today as part of the Initiative for Appalachian Food and Culture, a Farm to Ohio working group project involving Ohio University, Rural Action, and CFI that aims to build a resilient food system in Southeast Ohio. These recipes celebrate local, seasonal ingredients. Let's get cooking! Today we're making creamy pumpkin soup. I made this soup using pumpkin I roasted and froze during the fall, but you can still get winter squash at the Athens Farmers Market and substitute any of those orange winter squashes, like butternut, in this recipe. Look at all the beautiful pumpkins that were available at the Chester Hill Produce Auction this fall. And there are some really fun other winter squashes out there. Really fun for experimenting. So, soup. If you haven't roasted your squash yet, you can follow the easy recipe at the end of this video. Roasting your own squash is so simple and delicious. It's definitely worth the extra step. Plus, you can do that step ahead of time. Here are some photos from roasting a local squash in the fall. Once you have your roasted squash, the rest of the recipe comes together in a snap. First, prep your onion and garlic. Roughly chop your onion since you will be blending your ingredients later. Then, chop and mince 4 to 6 garlic cloves. I used 6 since I love garlic. You can also use the side of your knife to press down on the garlic to make peeling it easier before chopping. After you have chopped both the onion and garlic, heat them in your pot with 3 tablespoons of olive oil and half a teaspoon of salt for about 8 to 10 minutes. You will want your onion to look translucent. As your onion and garlic are cooking, you can peel the rind off your roasted pumpkin chunks. If using squash, you may skip this step since you will peel your squash before roasting it. While your onion sautés a little bit, you can get the rest of your meal ready, like a kale salad or sliced apples. Both of these things are available at the Athens Farmers Market now. Why is the Initiative for Appalachian Food and Culture so focused on eating a local seasonal diet? A resilient local food system is one of the building blocks for a resilient community. It's crazy to think about just how connected food is to many of the crises we face as a society today, such as those surrounding health, social justice, and the climate. These issues can feel overwhelming, but you can create positive change every time you eat. So, make lots of this soup with lots of local squash. It freezes well for future enjoyment. Okay, next step. Once your onion and garlic are ready, you can add your pumpkin or squash chunks, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves to your pot. Optionally, you can also add a pinch of cayenne pepper for some more spice. Once you've added your pumpkin or squash chunks and spices, use a spoon to break up the chunks. Finally, add 4 cups of vegetable broth and bring the mixture to a boil before reducing the heat and allowing the soup to simmer for around 15 minutes. After allowing your flavors to meld, add a half cup of full-fat coconut milk or substitute with heavy cream if you desire, and add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup or honey. Using coconut milk and maple syrup makes this soup vegan. Finally, allow the soup to cool before using an immersion blender to blend the soup while in the pot. Alternatively, you can transfer the soup in small batches to a stand blender to blend. Enjoy! This soup also freezes well. Just sanction the soup into individual portions and freeze for later. The soup can also be made in a crock pot, especially if using squash. Peel your squash and dice it into chunks, then combine it with your chopped onion and garlic in your crock pot. Toss in your seasonings and vegetable broth, then allow your mixture to cook on high for 3 to 4 hours. Once your squash chunks are soft enough to mash with a fork, turn off the heat and add your coconut milk or heavy cream and your maple syrup or honey. Blend and enjoy. This method may lengthen the cooking time, but it is much more hands-off. Want to reduce your cooking time even more? Roast your pumpkin or squash ahead of time. Just follow the instructions for roasting on this pumpkin puree recipe. If you want to learn more, you can find more information about the Initiative for Appalachian Food and Culture on the Office of Sustainability website and learn more about ways you can get involved. You can also find more recipes on Community Food Initiative's Facebook page. In the meantime, celebrate some delicious local food with us.